Minister, over to the official opposition.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you to the Minister and emergency staff for all your work. I'm hoping we can do block time because, surprise, I might have a lot of questions for you. And I'm just hoping that whatever is not answered, I can get into writing afterwards. I've been told I get to do block time if I'd like it. So, victim services. On page 41 of the business plan, it refers to supports for those affected by domestic violence and human trafficking. What specific amount in this budget is dedicated to preventing domestic violence and ensuring women and victims of domestic violence can safely can access safety, victim support, and court support before violence escalates? Since domestic and gender-based violence are public safety issues, why is the only metric assessed in the ministry's business plan the application processing time for victims' services? Why doesn't the ministry report on the impact of the services? Is there any other metric the ministry collects data on regarding domestic violence? Research shows that domestic violence is often repetitive and predictable, and it's not random. The ministry's 2026 business plan provides crime prevention grant funding and leads supports for victims of police-reported intimate partner violence. What does the ministry fund to intervene earlier before violence escalates? What considerations are taken for what are not captured by the annual report metrics of intimate partner violence, unreported violence, barriers to reporting, coercive control, or women who never engage with the police at all? Given these limitations, why is the primary outcome indicator for the GBV strategy? If most intimate partner violence is never reported to the police, why is the police-reported IVV being used as a primary outcome indicator for government performance? What other metrics are used to measure whether women can actually access safety and supports, including court support, victim supports, emergency travel, relocation help, or trauma-informed follow-up? What is being done to enhance regional supports for victims of intimate partner and domestic violence, especially for Indigenous women, rural women, women with disabilities, and women who do not trust the justice system? And through the chair, line 5.2, page 200 of estimates reveals an increase of $2.7 million compared to the 2025-2026 estimate. How much of the total funding goes directly to frontline victim service units? What is the impact on the increase of frontline services? Which programs or initiatives will receive funding this year? For victims of crime assistance programs and victims of crime and public safety funding, how much additional funding is allocated to these? Under your grants, the business plan on page 143, a key objective for this ministry is allocating $5.5 million to grants and initiatives to combat human trafficking. How much of this funding directly supports survivors through shelter beds, mental health supports, counseling, case management, long-term housing, rapid exit services? How much is allocated to enforcement, coordination with nonprofit and cultural groups, and administration for data and research? On page 6 of the 24-25 annual report, it indicates that there's a $2.5 million to the Alberta Centre to End Trafficking in Persons. Can the minister break down where this funding is allocated and where in the budget it comes from? Emergency housing is the biggest barrier traffic victims face. The Combating Trafficking in Persons Grant Fund will add 19 rapid exits and transitional beds across Alberta. How many beds existed before this expansion? How did the ministry determine the 19 beds would be enough? The ministry says that the new regional victim service model improves access and consistency, but frontline organizations are reporting less local connection, weaker coordination, and more inconsistent court supports. Alberta shelters respond to 53,391 calls to help in the 23-24 and turned away more than 31,000 people because of the lack of space or resources. What is public safety doing to ensure women who cannot access shelters will still be able to access immediate victim support, court support, and safety and planning? If shelters are increasingly filling court gaps, what is public safety doing to ensure women are not losing services because of ministry? What evidence does the minister have that women experiencing domestic violence are actually safer and better supported under the new model? What specific measures does the ministry take to know whether women in rural communities can access court support and victim services in a time and safe way. On page 28 of the business plan, there is the joint commission with the Alberta 10-year strategy to end gender-based violence. With the implementation of this, what is the formal coordination with your ministry? Of the 15.7 million, how much of this is it allocated to your ministry?
Pardon me, member, you get 5 minutes and you've just reached it now. So we'll go to the minister for